Hello, guys. What I want to do over the next few minutes is just talk about a special lesson that I put into Blue Quill that deals with arithmetic with polynomials. And if you guys just go to the assessment activity section right here, you guys click on form of assessment. What happens is you guys get a lesson that's called Interpreting Algebraic Expressions. This is a lesson. When I click on it, you'll see it in a little bit. This is a lesson that's developed by a group called mapshell.org, which is funded by Gates Foundation. And this lesson I love to do in class. I do multiple of these a year. And this allows the kids the chance to see why things see things in regards to simplifying expressions and see why things are the way that they are. So if you guys look at the sequence of things that I have, you guys are doing this after I do addition, subtraction, and multiplying polynomials. Also in regards to like squaring a binomial. This lesson helps them see why when I square a binomial, it has this specific form that it does. So you guys usually want to do this at kind of towards the end of this section or end of this unit, just to give you an idea if the kids actually understand why simplified forms are the way that they are. When I look at this lesson, I'm just going to break this down really quickly for you guys. When I break it down, there's an introduction. It gives you guys the idea of what the lesson is talking about, and then the type of things that you need to do. This lesson is recommended for 90 minutes or two 50-minute lessons with a 10-minute follow-up. And then usually, all of these have something called a pre-assessment. And let me just jump into this. This pre-assessment is supposed to take about 10 minutes. And the goal of the pre-assessment is to help you understand what the kids do or do not understand on the concept that we've been talking about. So there's a resource in the back of the section in the student materials called Interpreting Expressions. And what you guys will do is you'll print this out for the kids and you will give it to them. You will give them about 10 minutes to complete this. They may or may not understand any of this stuff that we're talking about, but the goal is just to see whether or not what they do or do not know. So they'll complete this. Hopefully they'll be able to write down these expressions here using algebraic notation, and then they'll be able to understand whether or not these expressions are exactly the same or not. After you guys do that, you guys will then grade them. And one of the great things about this is that there is an answer key in the solution section. This gives you guys the answers to all the pre-assessment. And what you'll do after that is, after you kind of get an idea of whether or not they understand things, what you guys will do is you won't grade it, but you guys will basically look at what they wrote down, the student work, and write down questions to help them understand the understanding. And you guys will identify misconceptions that the kids had on the concept that they're being assessed on. So you do this one night. I would usually do these like the pre-assessment, a night or two before you actually want to implement the lesson in class. And what will happen is the day that you start this lesson, you guys will have an outline of things to do. So like here's a suggested outline on how to complete the lesson. So you guys will do some mini whiteboard work at the beginning of class, which you guys will be asked to have kids write down specific expressions, given word statements. And then what you guys will do is you'll have a PowerPoint that you guys will show, which is already attached to this. And you guys will show the slide, and you'll do like a collaborative activity just talking about what statements mean. Then what you guys will do is you will give kids a card set. You will give them card set A and card set B. Now, what I usually do with this is I have just copy them a week or two before, cut them out, and I will connect these two together. And basically what happens during this time, if I follow the outline, is they will try to match the statements. So they will try to match the expression with the word statement. Some of these will have statements and some of these won't. So some of these will have expressions and some of them will have word expressions that I will connect and some of them don't. And what will happen is you'll try to fill in the void of what's supposed to be happening. So I will do this for about 20 minutes or so, having kids go through these. So then, after that, we will have just like a little, they will be broken up into pairs. So you guys will break them up into pairs. Usually, I will have people with similar misconceptions, like similar mistakes on the pre-assessment, and I will pair them together to work on this task for about 20 minutes. And what you'll do is you'll just walk around. You're not giving them necessarily am I right or wrong, but just start giving them like feedback to help move the learning forward. Now, after you guys do that, you will be able to extend this a little bit more, and we will be matching what you guys already did with the expressions and words with the tables. Okay. Now, the reason why you guys do this is just to help them start to see how these expressions can be kind of shown through tables. Meaning that, like, these are algebraic expressions that I can almost graph algebraic, or I can graph these statements and seeing if they're similar. Now, what you guys will start to notice is that there's only 8 tables here. If I look at card set C, there's 8 tables. And how many expressions are there? There are 14 expressions and 14 word statements. And what you'll start to notice is kids will start to say, hey, there's less tables than there are expressions. And what they'll start to see is that some of these expressions and words go with multiple tables. So that gets them to start seeing, hey, these two statements are exactly the same. Like one of the things you'll start to see is, hey, 2 times n plus 3, this statement is exactly the same thing as this expression, 2n plus 6. Or they'll say, hey, n plus 6 squared is the same thing as n squared plus 12n plus 36. And the reason why that's the case is because if I look at this table, it's exactly the same as these other statements. So we guys have gotten through this, done this collaborative activity. And then if time permits, you guys are going to try to jump into this area aspect. And you'll start to see how these areas correspond to the expression, words, and tables. Now, the reason why I like this is because when I talk about multiplication, as you guys saw, I usually talk about it in the regards to area of rectangles or squares. So this just gives kids a more concrete example of how all these things are related to each other. Now, after you guys are done with that, what will happen is then they will kind of have an opportunity to redo. I would have another copy of this interpreting expressions and have them redo it just to see if they better understand what's going on. This is just a quick explanation of this lesson, guys. If you have any questions about this, don't hesitate to email me at scott.graham@bayschoolsohio.org. I love these lessons, and I think they are truly gives us information on whether kids understand what we're actually trying to teach them. So don't hesitate to ask. Thanks, guys.